Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Atlanta, fans. Let's get to the news. When you think about the Atlanta Falcons, what immediately comes to mind? The rich history, the ups and downs, and of course, the relentless pursuit of that elusive Super Bowl trophy. And let's be honest, Falcons fans, we've been waiting for the right moment to see this team truly rise again, to establish dominance in the NFC South, and to make a serious run in the playoffs. Well, folks, the NFL offseason is a time of strategic moves, bold trades, and sometimes surprises that can redefine a franchise's future. And right now, the buzz around the league suggests that the Falcons might be on the brink of something big, a series of hypothetical yet highly intriguing trade scenarios that could reshape not only their roster but their entire division landscape. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Trades, that's just speculation. But in the NFL, especially in recent years, these kinds of multi-team trade ideas aren't just fantasy, they're a reflection of real strategic thinking, and sometimes a glimpse into what teams are secretly planning behind closed doors. The NFL has become more dynamic, more aggressive in its approach to roster building, and that means these trade scenarios, whether they come to fruition or not, give us a lot to talk about. One of the most talked about scenarios right now involves the Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Indianapolis Colts. It's a three-team trade thought experiment, but it paints a picture of how teams might be trying to optimize their rosters for the upcoming season. So, let's break it down and see what could happen if this scenario materializes. In this hypothetical deal, the Bengals would receive tight end Kyle Pitts, a player who, despite all the hype when he was drafted 4th overall, has yet to fully showcase his potential. The Colts, on the other hand, would land Trey Hendrickson, a proven pass rusher who could significantly boost their front seven, and the Falcons would acquire Deforest Buckner, the veteran defensive tackle whose presence could be a game-changer for their defensive line. Now, why would the Falcons consider such a move? Well, for starters, Deforest Buckner's impact on the interior line cannot be overstated. The 9-year veteran, known for his ability to collapse the pocket and defend the run, could be the anchor that Atlanta's defensive front desperately needs, especially if we consider the recent offseason efforts by the Falcons, trying to reset and rebuild their defense. Adding Buckner would give them a veteran presence, leadership, and a disruptive force right in the middle of that line. It's a move that could instantly elevate their run defense and create more opportunities for their pass rushers to get after the quarterback. But let's talk about Kyle Pitts for a moment. I know, many Falcons fans are still holding on to hope that Pitts can develop into the superstar tight end everyone expected when he was drafted. And honestly, I believe in his talent. But the truth is, Pitts has yet to reach that elite level, and some questions have been raised about whether he's living up to his draft status. So in this scenario, a move to Cincinnati could be a chance for him to reinvent himself. Imagine Pitts working alongside Joe Burrow, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins drawing so much attention in the passing game that Pitts could become a matchup nightmare over the middle or in the red zone. Cincinnati's offense, known for its explosive potential, might be the perfect environment for Pitts to flourish, especially if he's used in two tight end sets with a player like Hayden Hurst or a new addition. On the other side, the Falcons would be looking to shake things up at tight end. They've already made it clear that they're evaluating their options, and perhaps moving on from Pitts might be part of a bigger plan. The idea of sliding in Dawson Knox, a reliable tight end who can contribute immediately, especially in two tight end packages, makes sense. Knox, who has shown promise with the Buffalo Bills, could be the steadying presence Atlanta needs as they look to develop their offensive identity. And once Pitt's fifth-year option is exercised, Knox could serve as a valuable backup or even a future starter, giving the Falcons flexibility and depth at that position. Now, let's shift gears for a moment. We have to address the quarterback situation, which has been a hot topic in Atlanta for quite some time. The The current backup quarterback, Kirk Cousins, is a veteran who is often misunderstood. At 36, he's still a highly capable passer, but the question is whether he's the right fit for a team looking to take a leap this season. In this trade scenario, the Falcons might be looking to move Cousins to the New Orleans Saints, a division rival, in exchange for Dawson Knox and some additional draft capital. The Saints, with their current roster, might see Cousins as a short-term solution, someone who can help them contend this year while their young quarterbacks develop behind the scenes. For Atlanta, acquiring Knox would mean bolstering their tight end room with a player who can step in and contribute immediately, especially in two tight end formations that can add complexity to their offense. Plus, moving Cousins within the division could be a strategic move. Sometimes, facing a familiar opponent twice a year gives you an edge, especially if the player is familiar with your schemes. Of course, this kind of move isn't just about immediate gain. It's about setting the team up for sustained success, balancing veteran leadership with young talent, and creating a roster that can compete both in the present and the future. But here's the thing, these trade scenarios, while fascinating, also raise some important questions. The first one being, what does this mean for Kyle Pitts? As I mentioned earlier, Pitts has to prove himself in these next 6 months. The Falcons made it clear last season that they're not willing to extend him yet, which might be a sign that they're weighing their options. It's a tough situation because Pitts showed flashes of brilliance, but consistency has been an issue. Some analysts believe that a change of scenery could unlock his full potential, that maybe Atlanta's system or coaching staff isn't the best fit for him. Others argue that he simply needs more time and patience, that he's still a young player with all the tools to become a top-tier tight end. And let's not forget the broader context. The NFC South is wide open in 2024. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, and Carolina Panthers are all making moves, trying to position themselves as the division's top dog. The Falcons, with a solid core of young talent, a promising quarterback in Desmond Ridder, and now potentially some strategic trades, are looking to stay competitive and maybe even surpass their rivals. The acquisition of experienced veterans like Buckner or the strategic reshuffling of offensive weapons could be the difference makers that push Atlanta over the edge. Looking at the Falcons' recent history, it's clear they're not afraid to make bold moves. Remember when they traded up to draft Kyle Pitts? Or when they invested heavily in their offensive line and defensive front? This team has shown a willingness to take risks, and that's what makes the current speculation so exciting. It's about vision, about understanding that to compete at the highest level, sometimes you need to shake things up, make bold trades, and take calculated risks. Now, I want to emphasize that all these scenarios are just that, scenarios. But what they highlight is the strategic mindset that the Falcons are likely adopting. They're looking at every position, every player, and asking themselves how they can improve faster, how they can maximize their talent, and how they can create a roster that's versatile and tough to game plan against. The NFL is a league of constant evolution, and Atlanta wants to be at the forefront of that evolution. They want to recapture the magic of their Super Bowl run in 2016, or even better, create a new chapter of dominance. And speaking of the future, we can't ignore the draft. The Falcons have some valuable assets and draft picks that could be used to further reinforce their roster in the upcoming NFL draft. Maybe these trade scenarios could be part of a broader plan to accumulate more picks or target specific players they believe will elevate the team. The front office has been very active in recent years, and it's clear that they're not content with just patching things up. They want to build something sustainable, something that can contend for years to come. In terms of coaching and development, the Falcons have also made some key moves. The coaching staff, led by Arthur Smith, has shown resilience and adaptability. Smith's offensive schemes are innovative, and his ability to develop quarterbacks like Desmond Ridder will be crucial in the coming seasons. The defense, which has underperformed at times, is seeing a shift towards more aggressive, disruptive players, and adding veterans like Buckner could be the catalyst for a much-improved unit. The key for Atlanta now is consistency, making those right moves at the right time, and giving their young players the opportunity to grow and shine. And let's not forget the fans. Atlanta Falcons fans are some of the most passionate in the league. They've been through the highs of that Super Bowl appearance and the lows of rebuilding phases, but the hope remains strong. They know that with the right moves, this team can turn things around quickly. The energy around the team, the draft buzz, the offseason trades, they all point towards a franchise that's eager to get back to greatness. And while these trade scenarios are speculative, they highlight the kind of bold thinking that could propel the Falcons into a new era of success. As we wrap up, I want to reiterate that the NFL offseason is a time of endless possibilities. Teams are constantly evaluating, negotiating, and planning for the future. The Atlanta Falcons are no different. They're in a position where smart moves can make all the difference, whether it's adding a veteran like Buckner to solidify the interior line, reshaping the tight end position with Pitts, Knox, or someone else, or making strategic trades within the division to gain an advantage. The next few months will be critical, and fans should keep their eyes peeled because history has shown that some of the most exciting changes happen during this period. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you believe a trade involving Pitts, Buckner, or even Cousins makes sense? Are you optimistic about the team's future, or do you think they need to make more drastic moves? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons organization. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and news, so stay tuned because the best is yet to come for Atlanta. This team is on the rise, and it's an exciting time to be a Falcons fan. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the faith and stay passionate.